Hello, sports fans. Welcome to the OU Football Preview Show. I'm Rick Heath, with me Mark Rogers, and we are at Coach's Corner here in Norman, Lindsay and Barry. Great place to come where you can watch OU football with former players, your family, and your friends, and have a great meal while you're doing it here at Coach's Corner. Now, Mark, I don't know what we can say that hasn't been said yet, but what a mess OU football is right now.
Do you want me to give you the positive approach? I mean, I can tell you the positives.
I need positive.
Yes, okay.
I need positive.
Well, all right. I mean, my theory was before the game that Oklahoma could maybe force some turnovers against a team that had been turnover prone all season long. That wasn't the case. It went exactly the opposite. So I think if the Sooners were the team that benefited from 4 turnovers, then it might have had a different result. But the South Carolina defense has some edge players that really affected the game. Oklahoma gave up more sacks than they've ever given up before in a game, 9.
You know what was so crazy about that 9 sacks? 9 different players got 9 sacks. It wasn't like, okay, this right end is killing the left tackle, or this left end is killing the right tackle. 9 different guys got sacks.
Well, the positivity may have to end here because against some of the linemen that Oklahoma had in there in the second half, they could have probably half the people in the stadium could have got a sack. So I don't know that South Carolina has incredible depth, but it really was poor play from the offensive line that, to me, you get to the point after this week, which is going to be a tough task. We'll talk about Ole Miss coming up. The freshman linemen that are there, you can play them 4 games without burning their red shirt. And so that's a situation I think they really have to look at and hopefully will improve some of those positions.
And that's the thing about it is, and I'll talk more in the second segment, but Bill Bedenbaugh is a noted offensive line coach, and he's won awards as an offensive line coach. And yet, this is a line probably monumentally bad for Oklahoma. Well, how does that happen?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think some evaluations, the offense as a whole is an issue, and I think it started a little bit with NIL money, and then it has taken a hit, I think, at the expense of the defense being built. Bill is recruiting really well. He's got a good class committed for 2025. He's very respected, but it's hard for me to argue with someone that says, look, what is the production and what's going on with this offensive line that is as bad as it is right now? I really don't have a good answer for you. So.
Well, okay, I have an answer. We're just going to turn the page and we're going to talk basketball. No, I'm just joking. We're not talking basketball yet. We're here at Coach's Corner talking OU football, and we'll be right back. If you're worried about things about your body that you may be feeling bad, or you have some things that you want to check out, go to Halo Body Scan on 3400 West Hefner Road in Oklahoma City. Skip the overpriced and endless test. Halo Body Scan offers one comprehensive body scan at a fair price and no pressure for extra tests. Take control of your health with Halo Body Scan. Find out about your body's health today. Give them a call, 477-1100. That's 405-477-1100.
Reveal the skin you've always wanted with Morpheus 8 at the new Laser Light. Combining the power of microneedling and radio frequency, Morpheus 8 stimulates collagen production to tighten, smooth, and contour your skin. It's a non-surgical solution for scars, wrinkles, and other blemishes, perfect for your face, neck, and body. Experience youthful, radiant skin with minimal downtime. Schedule your consultation today at the new Laser Light and discover a new you with Morpheus 8.
You are the most beautiful creation under the sun. Daily Jamformations. You are going to make Table 14 so happy. And you are being taken away. All right. At Neighborhood Jam, you deserve breakfast as beautiful as you. So start the day right with scratch-made favorites, morning or midday, every day. Treat yourself to Neighborhood Jam. You're gonna taste just as good tomorrow.
Come see Paul at the Mattress Place. He is Sooner born and wants to take care of his fellow Oklahomans. The Mattress Place has a nice queen pillow top mattress starting as low as $2.99 and kings for only $3.99. They carry Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and much more. The Mattress Place has a large selection and fast delivery. Located between Penn and Western on Southwest 59th Street. Buy your groceries in your neighborhood, but buy your mattresses at the Mattress Place. And welcome back. Mark Rogers, Rick Heath from Coach's Corner here at Lindsay and Berry in Norman. A great place to come watch football. There's Monday night football, Tuesday night football, Wednesday night football, Thursday night football. There's football all around. And you can come here at Coach's Corner and enjoy it with your friends, family, and it's got great food and great drink specials here at Coach's Corner. Mark, we were just talking about Bill Bedenbaugh, the offensive line coach for OU. I mean, he's had a great reputation, but how do you get caught off guard and not know that the guys you're lining up just aren't getting the job done? I mean, isn't that something that you see during scrimmages leading up to the season?
I mean, I'll give you a couple of possible explanations. I think, if you have struck out somewhat in the portal at the beginning of the year and you end up taking second-tier guys, you might hope that when they get here that things are going to be better, but they just haven't been. And so there's an evaluation issue there clearly that they've missed, or they need more resources to try to recruit some better players. And so I think they're going to have to live in this world where it's a tricky issue budgeting to try to find guys, but they're going to have to evaluate better. And I said on my radio show that someone in the office, the football office, needs to be dedicated to find where any lineman that's playing college football right now, Power 5 schools, Power 4 schools, know everything about them, potentially high school coach, friends, other things like that. What connections do we have to linemen that we can get in here? What do we have to pay them to get them to come here and transfer the way that other schools have? If you look at a lot of these SEC teams, they have other SEC linemen that have transferred in that are in starting positions. A good team, Ole Miss does have 2 LSU players on this offensive line, or 2 Washington players, 1 LSU player. So Oklahoma has to get in that portal and get active and use the strengths that they have, the tradition of the program, the resources of the program, and then the coaching of the program too. Because I think that Bill still does have a great reputation around college football, but they have struck out completely in the portal this year.
Well, and that's what they're going to have to do. And I like your suggestions. Is start right now. Start looking. If they haven't already, which I can't believe they haven't at least started trying to find some people. But I remember Kansas State back, a few years back under Snyder. He never had any highly rated offensive linemen, and yet they were very capable. They knew what they were doing. They did a good job of what they could do. And to me, that is what. They can't find one good thing that they can do. Generally, you can either run block or pass block. This line can do neither.
Well, that's true. I think one thing also that you should consider here is that Bill has always been very good with the GT play, the guard and tackle pull. And Oklahoma, if you look at the linemen that they have now, they're smaller linemen. If you look at the line that Oklahoma's going up against this week at Ole Miss, 340, 350 at the tackle positions, 330 at the center spot, and 325, 325 at the guards. And so SEC offensive lines are very big. That's what it takes to go up against SEC defensive linemen. Last time I looked, there's 7 different teams that had a defensive end or a defensive lineman in the SEC this year that are projected to be first-round picks. And so you're not going up, and when Bill has coached in the Big 12 at West Virginia and Texas Tech and Oklahoma, when you're going up against SEC defensive linemen, that GT play, it may not work all the time,
Well, but it's not like they didn't know what was going on in the SEC. It's not like this is new to any of the coaches or any of the administrators of OU. They made that decision to go in the SEC knowing they had a 2-year window to get ready. They funked that big time.
Well, that could also speak to a little bit of a lack of organization on this coaching staff coming from the top. I think it's been a learning curve for Brent Venables to go from being a coordinator to what he loves to do to being a head coach where he's organizing the entire program. I think they made some errors again in staffing this year. We've talked about the quarterbacks not having much coaching in the room, and there's been an issue, I think, developmentally with those positions. But I think until man, I mean, it's one thing to play an SEC team in a bowl game or play, and this Oklahoma team has done that successiously, but I think it's another thing to go from week to week playing teams like
over
South
and over
Carolina,
and over, yes.
even Texas you can throw in there. So, you know what? I mean, the adjustment to the SEC has been tough, but I don't think Oklahoma, is upset about making that move. The money, the increased revenue they're going to have is going to help pay some of the NIL.
They're going to have to pay for those players.
Yeah, and again, you're going to have to beat SEC teams to win championships. That's what the Oklahoma program's about.
And
it's been since 2000.
they've never shied away from that,
No,
and I understand that. Okay, so let's focus on what might have been positive. And I'll throw some things out there and we'll go over to the next segment.
All
right. Is Jackson Arnold a quarterback for the rest of the season? Did we find a wide receiver or wide receivers that we can move forward with did they find a wide receiver that they can move forward with? And then finally, is there any kind of glimpse that the line is starting to gel a little better? And we'll talk about that when we get back here on the OU Football Preview Show. If you're worried about things about your body that you may be feeling bad, or you have some things that you want to check out, go to Halo Body Scan on 3400 West Hefner Road in Oklahoma City. Skip the overpriced and endless test. Halo Body Scan offers one comprehensive body scan at a fair price and no pressure for extra tests. Take control of your health with Halo Body Scan. Find out about your body's health today. Give them a call, 477-1100. That's 405-477-1100.
Reveal the skin you've always wanted with Morpheus 8 at the new Laser Light. Combining the power of microneedling and radio frequency, Morpheus 8 stimulates collagen production to tighten, smooth, and contour your skin. It's a non-surgical solution for scars, wrinkles, and other blemishes, perfect for your face, neck, and body. Experience youthful, radiant skin with minimal downtime. Schedule your consultation today at the new Laser Light and discover a new you with Morpheus 8.
You are the most beautiful creation under the sun. Daily Informations. You are going to make Table 14 so happy. And you are being taken away. All right. At Neighborhood Jam, you deserve breakfast as beautiful as you. So start the day right with scratch-made favorites, morning or midday, every day. Treat yourself to Neighborhood Jam. You're gonna taste just as good tomorrow.
Come see Paul at the Mattress Place. He is Sooner born and wants to take care of his fellow Oklahomans. The Mattress Place has a nice queen pillow top mattress starting as low as $2.99 and kings for only $3.99. They carry Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and much more. The Mattress Place has a large selection and fast delivery. Located between Penn and Western on Southwest 59th Street. Buy your groceries in your neighborhood, but buy your mattresses at the Mattress Place. If you're worried about things about your body that you may be feeling bad, or you have some things that you want to check out, go to Halo Body Scan on 3400 West Hefner Road in Oklahoma City. Skip the overpriced and endless test. Halo Body Scan offers one comprehensive body scan at a fair price and no pressure for extra tests. Take control of your health with Halo Body Scan. Find out about your body's health today. Give them a call, 477-1100. That's 405-477-1100. And welcome back, OU Football Preview Show. Mark Rogers, Rick Heath from Coach's Corner here in Norman. Great place to come. They are open for all the OU's football games, all potential Monday night games, all the games that are coming up in football here at Coach's Corner at Lindsay and Berry in Norman. Okay, I mentioned Jackson Arnold. Do you think Jackson Arnold is the quarterback moving forward the rest of the year?
Man, that's a tough question. I don't know. I think that he played okay in the game on Saturday. I think one of the reasons why the switch was made is that Michael Hawkins is having a hard time staying in the pocket. And don't blame it. I mean, you got guys coming at you, you're going to move around there.
It's kind of hard to stay in the pocket when it's 1001, 1002, 1000 duck.
It nullifies the ability to throw the football for the most part. And so I think that they believe that Jackson Arnold gives them a slightly better chance to win. And he did throw for over 200 yards.
And one of the reasons why Jackson Arnold was pulled was because he turnovers.
Yeah.
Okay. And Michael Hawkins gave him a little bit more mobility back there to avoid the rush because they couldn't block anybody, pass block. But that was negated by they were getting on Michael Hawkins so fast. His 2 turnovers were hit as he was throwing the ball.
Both players, I think, still have a ton of developmental potential, but it's going to be hard to see that behind this group of offensive linemen and also a group of young wide receivers, so that they're lacking in both those areas. There's not really one guy that they can kind of depend on here. So it's too early to tell about the quarterbacks, I think. But again, I wouldn't give up on them. They're both young guys, and Oklahoma fans are really spoiled and used to great quarterback play, but they're not used to having very many guys that have not played with a lot of experience behind an offensive line.
I saw Jackson Arnold do some things that I felt he stood in there a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that gives me thought that I would keep him on there in case unless he just goes ahead and has so many turnovers that you can't keep him in there.
Well,
but to me, he's earned the start at Ole Miss, and he's earned the start as long as he's not. As long as he's giving him a chance to throw the ball down the field, because that was lacking.
I'm not comparing either of these guys to this player, but Kyler Murray, kind of got shoved in as a freshman at Texas A&M, lost that starting job. Both those A&M quarterbacks were playing behind a pretty poor offensive line. Both went to the pros, and we know what Kyler Murray turned out to be, but he didn't look like the Kyler Murray we saw at Oklahoma as a freshman at Texas A&M.
Well, and you're right. I mean, as far as having to play behind that offensive line does not give you a chance to show your abilities to the best of the ability. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Joe Jon Finley. He is now the offensive coordinator. He's going to be calling plays, something that he has never done in his career.
That's right, and he's a disciple of Jeff Lebby, which means maybe a little bit more spreading of the field. That could potentially mean some different things. I would say maybe a little bit more vertical passing game. But you can't make massive offensive changes really during the season. Now maybe they can make a few, and they've got an off week coming up, and they've got a week against Maine before they play what is their most important football game of the season at Missouri. I think that's going to be the one that determines whether they get to go to a bowl or not. That's one that I think they'll have a shot to win. Other games are going to be really tough. They're going to be huge underdogs. But hey, Joe Jon was a guy that he's coached at different places, and see if you can maybe light a fire under what's going on offense.
Well, the only thing I will say about Joe Jon Finley, Joe Jon Finley was co-offensive coordinator. He was also the tight ends coach. One of the worst positions on the team was the tight ends' responsibility and how they've been playing, because they couldn't block and they're not catching the ball. So I'm not indicting Joe Jon Finley for the tight end play, but that's certainly been subpar, and he was the coach of that.
I give you an excuse for him. Under Lincoln Riley in this transition, you didn't really have tight ends. They had H-backs.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of teams play with multiple tight end sets. Like Iowa State's really good at that. They'll put 3 tight ends in a formation, and you don't line up right, they're going to run it and run over you because of that size. Now, listen, I don't know how many scholarships Brent Venables wanted to do a lot to tight ends, because he hadn't allotted a whole bunch to the offensive linemen. And so,
But did they not recruit one of the top tight ends in high school coming to OU, and he's been hurt or he hadn't been able to play?
That's fair. I mean, Bauer Sharp they liked. I mean, he's from Southeast Louisiana. I mean, I don't think you're going to go from playing at Southeast Louisiana to beating Alabama and LSU and teams like that, and I think he's overwhelmed. But Roberts is a kid from Norman, has struggled too. Those guys aren't big enough and physical enough to block in the SEC, and I think it's hard for them to get open too. So if you want to give Joe Jon Finley 3 scholarships, go get tight ends and run some multiple sets with tight ends on the field, I think he could be able to get the job done. But organization, biggest issue to me, top-down organization.
And that's the problem that starts at the top with Brent Venables. And the question becomes, is Brent Venables the man to be the coach for OU? That has not been answered yet. He still deserves a chance to finish out the rest of the season and see how he does. And then at the end of the year, there's got to be some decisions made. If he stays, then what's he do? If he goes, what's the buyout? And we'll talk more about that as the year goes on. Hey, we are at Coach's Corner here at Lindsay and Berry in Norman. Great place to come watch football, any sporting event. We got the World Series starting here pretty quick.
Friday.
You notice I said World Series. Blackie Sherrod was my favorite sports writer, and that's what he called it. So I've called it the World Series ever since then. But World Series starts, and you can come to Coach's Corner and watch it here. We'll be right back with the last segment after this. And welcome back. Final segment, OU football preview show. Mark Rogers, Rick Heath from Coach's Corner, where they have great food. If you're looking for the food that you want to eat, the pub food, the bar food to watch a football game, you got to come here to Coach's Corner. They got a great menu, great food, and good special drinks, as well as cold beer available each and every game right here at Coach's Corner. Okay, Mark, OU, 11 o'clock kickoff. In the Grove, you'll be there. You'll be talking about the potential for OU to spring an upset. What do we got? 5% chance?
It's hard for percentages. I mean, they're the largest underdog since 1997. I mean, and I think when you look at a point spread, it's not just a random number. It's an equivalent of the fact that Ole Miss has got a good offense. I mean, Oklahoma, even though they've got a good defense, Ole Miss is going to score some points in this game. And I think OU's ability to score on this defense that's better up front than South Carolina was, maybe not at one or two individual spots, but the entire front seven is loaded with talented portal players and guys that are veterans that have been at Ole Miss a long time. So gonna need some help. Like, again, you roll into town, you have a +4 turnover situation, then you win games like that, like South Carolina did in Norman on Saturday. That's one way to win it. Other ways looks kind of grim.
Well, Jackson Dart's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
They got a wide receiver that he only needs 13 more yards to get 1,000. He'll be the first one. Yeah, Trey Harris.
52 catches. He didn't play the second half of Ole Miss last game against LSU last week.
He was
a big deal.
Yeah, he kind of got hurt,
Yeah.
but he's healed up for the off week. Hopefully, they think. But anyway, they got a good, solid offense. And Lane Kiffin, if given a chance, they've lost 2 games in the SEC. They need to get back in national spotlight. If they can beat OU handily, they will. If they can run it up, they will, because Lane Kiffin needs to get some national pub for more than just 2 last-second losses.
Well, teams have also been a little conservative against OU at times because they know that the offense isn't much of a threat. And again, the one way you can get beat is trying to go out there and do some crazy things. And so, we'll see how Lane Kiffin does it. I think the OU defense should be competitive enough. You hope that they can stay kind of in the moment enough not to get down if the offense isn't moving the ball very much.
I saw a stat. I got to bring this up. You know that Ole Miss has only trailed for 2 minutes and 25 seconds out of 420 minutes of game action, and they've got 2 losses.
They do. They lost to Kentucky the same day that Oklahoma beat Auburn. And if you look at a team that mirrors OU, Kentucky is it. I mean, the defense is solid, and Kentucky may be a little better on that side of the football. Kentucky also got blasted at home by South Carolina in a game that was similar to what the OU game was. Statistically, it was kind of even. Scoreboard wasn't. Kentucky has had bad offensive play and bad quarterback play. So there's a recipe. I kind of look at the Kentucky game plan and see if they can slow things down enough to stay in it.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, last week had some monumental games in the SEC. Georgia beats #1 Texas.
Yeah, what a
weekend! What a great game that was. And you had Alabama getting beat by Tennessee, and then LSU handling Arkansas pretty handily, which I thought that might be a tougher game because they were playing at Arkansas. But those are 3 games, and then this week you've got 3 other games. You got Texas after coming off that loss to Georgia playing Vanderbilt. LSU, A&M, that'll be an elimination game right there.
Yeah.
Those guys are in the running. And then Missouri at Alabama. How does that – those are the kind of games that define this week in and week out in the SEC.
A&M has had the perfect schedule this year. They have LSU at home. They have Texas at home coming up later on this season. And they've already won games on the road. They won last week at Mississippi State. And so they've got a couple they beat Arkansas on a neutral field. That's big. And both those teams are undefeated. The winner of this game is going to have some landmines that they have to navigate later on in the year. But with everyone having a conference loss, except these 2 teams here, the winner of this game puts themselves under driver's seat to potentially make the championship.
In great position. And Texas, can they bounce back? Tough loss. Texas got shown up for what? Lacking some of the things that, people hadn't thought they'd lacked, which is offensively. And Georgia just overpowered them and took control. And that shows the traditional powers of the SEC. Georgia has still got all those players. Even though Texas was highly touted with what all they could do, they got shown that they were not ready for the SEC either in that particular night. Now, my prediction for this game on Saturday is I can't see Ole Miss not winning this game. So I got it 35-10. Ole Miss over OU.
No, I hope you're wrong. I mean, I don't think even have a whole lot of interest, but the OU defense can make a play in this game. You got to play them. You know what I'm saying? If we just sit here and played them on paper, we might have given OU the victory last week. So we'll see how it goes.
I hope it goes different. I hope they play well. I hope Joe John Finley and the offense show a little bit more. I hope all of those things. But the reality is I think they come home a loser, and then they got a chance for the Maine Black Bears to get well. And we'll talk about that the next time we are here at the OU Football Preview Show. See you next time.